discussion. Don Hinkle.
Evening, my name is Don Hinkle. I live at 309 Morning Meadow Way here in Midland. I would like to comment about Ms. Craig's comments from last month, specifically where she talked about, for those of us that voted no, what would it take for us to vote yes? And I have to admit, she stumped me because I couldn't think of it. And if I knew her better, I would say, darn you, because I have spent hours on this. I've had nights where I went to bed thinking on this, and I woke up in the morning thinking about this, okay? So I have 4 comments about her comments. First, I thought they were incredibly wise and insightful, and as such, they're worthy to be repeated frequently, if not monthly, or however often she wants to say it, because I was stumped, okay? She hit the nail right on the head. Second, in a real way, she may have framed future discussions on bond issues. Because, as you saw, there was a large group that said, no, we have to switch that. If they're gonna, how's that gonna happen? 3, for me, this is a two-way street. So what do I voted no, what do I need to see change so that I can vote yes? And as you as the board, what are you able to change so that I can vote yes? And in a way that may almost be sort of hinted at tonight, almost like a self-autopsy. What happened, what do we do, and so that this doesn't happen again? And my 4th item is, to me, these are all about me, it's my opinion that if the same or similar bond issue goes up again, it will get voted down again. And that's not going to get us anywhere. So in conclusion, Ms. Craig, I thank you for your incredibly wise and insightful comments, and thank you that you had the courage to say them in the first place. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. I would be interested in details about what it would take to get you to yes. Mr. Bonadies.
Hello again. General comments. Thanks to my internet searches and the wonderful world of algorithms running throughout the internet, I've been shown a lot of school board stuff from locally as well as nationally, and it's amazing how similar things are. So some of the trends that I've seen in these references include, number 1, new and shiny school buildings instead of keeping old buildings will help students learn. It's been seen across the country, not found to be true. Illustration is our Central Park Elementary. 2, school board meetings have gotten very long across the whole country, and which is not good for public participation. I remember back when this was a business meeting and took less than an hour. 3, big school bonds pass at a much lower percentage rate than they did in the past. The only other one we were the biggest one in the state. The second biggest one in the state did pass, but that one was on the heels of an expiring bond, and so their net millage didn't change. So their total taxes didn't go up. So it's not just what are we doing today, it's how does it fit in the balance of everything else going on, which is why I'd mentioned previously the idea of a bond on a bond before it expires, on a bond before it expires, that type of thing. Anyway, so there's just a few of the things that are going on everywhere. We're not unique, and they haven't figured out how to do it either. Thank you.
That was everybody that I had signed up ahead of time. Anybody else that would like to address the board at this time? Were you next?
Margie Lamas, 5994 North Swede Road, Midland, Michigan, 48642. Trying to move on here with this bond thing. There was a mailing that was sent out that stated that there was misinformation put out by the Vote No people. And this is a quote from Scott McFarland. The effort that they are putting into misinformation is laughable. In the name of transparency and accuracy, the public wants to know more about that statement. I understand that you don't engage in this type of a forum, so I look forward to hearing from you. Penny has my contact information. And then another side note, if we're going to start talking about a committee or whatever how you're going to get your information from the public, I urge you to remember that there was an 11-month study on closing 4 schools that abruptly led to closing 5 with no study. This district has been overcrowded ever since that happened. When you listen, you must also comprehend. Thank you.
Margie, do you have this mailer?
I don't have the mailer.
Does anybody have a mailer? I don't know of anything that the district,
Through your website with all the invites,
I don't,
information, and I couldn't find any of those.
I am not aware of any mailer that would have come from the district that would have accused anybody of anything.
Okay,
So
so
if you can produce this mailer, I'd be all ears,
I'll
right?
retract the mailer because I don't have it with me. And like I said, I went to your website to find where you were inviting people for informational groups, and I couldn't find any of that information. But there is the quote from Scott McFarland.
Does Scott have a free speech right? Or, okay.
This information out there, I think, I'm trying to figure
Whenever he says something out in the public, the only way that this board speaks is through the actions of this business meeting.
So you think I should disregard that statement?
I don't know what he said. I'm not going to play cop of the Facebook comment section if that's what you're referring to.
Try to even engage in my Facebook, but go ahead.
Okay.
Is that what we do, is just act like,
No, I'm just trying to make sure that I've got the accurate information. So if there was a mailer, I would like to see it.
okay, I will look to see if,
Okay.
like I said, where were all those invites to the public forums?
I'm sorry?
Whenever you would have a public forum, we would get an invite. Was that only by mail, or was that on the internet?
Oh, the public meetings, we put them on social media.
Yeah.
Some were a media release, and we did have those on our website to invite the community to those public meetings.
They're also in the Midland Daily News on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
We can go back and look at those if need be.
I went back through to look for the invites, so I could try to go through each one of them, but I couldn't find them.
Would anybody else like to address the board at this time?
Hi, my name's Deb Flavor. Every time I've tried to address this board in the past, I've just mumbled. So I figured I'm winging it tonight. So anyways, guys, much to your goodness of heart, you've inherited, for lack of better terms, some of the sins of the past board. In the sense, when the 2015 bond was passed, it was supposed to replace the roof, replace the HVAC of Northeast. It didn't happen, and so I agree, Northeast has got some serious, serious problems. But then that factor of distrust comes in. It's like, well, I thought we passed a bond to get those issues fixed, and it didn't happen. So that's one aspect of you've inherited some distrust. And I love the idea of strategic planning, but we did that before. And I think you guys are all very intelligent, very logical. We got good, logical, intelligent people in our community that would be willing to come alongside. I think some of the big issues in terms of the next bond passing is you put up, I think 30% of the school population is 31A. Well, those 31A families are the ones that are going to have to pay this bond. And that's not insignificant. And yet we have a lot of two-income families in Midland. We have stratified income levels in our community. Stratified, the ones with two incomes, we need new schools because my traveling child goes to Grand Blanc, they got cool locker rooms and a cool field, and then they come here and we're embarrassed. I understand that, but we have 31A families trying to support this. And so I think we can come to agreement, but the other thing is, what percentage of our community really wants preschool in our elementary? I don't doubt there's a good segment of our population that says, hey, that'd be great. I can't afford preschool. But then you have to look at all the businesses that have preschool, Montessori's. Those are jobs that are going to be eliminated if we bring preschool into the elementary schools. So these are the factors I think you just need to think about when you look at our community and how it's stratified. Did I get it all? And the only other thing in terms of trust is you guys, we talked about the budgets and you voted on it, and then you voted on something else. And no offense, but I had no idea what you were voting on. It wasn't in our packet. It's like you could have all voted for a pay raise. Not that you did that. I know you didn't do that. But it's like I had no idea what you voted on. It was something physical. And so again, just in the aspect of being transparent, it'd be nice to know, what are you guys voting on? Thank you.
Can I just make one clarifying comment? Just because I've seen stuff on social media, we do not get paid.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why I use that as an example, because I know you guys do not get paid. But it didn't crack a smile on any of you, so I'm sorry. It was a bad joke.
Deb, help me with what did we vote on that you didn't understand? No, we removed an item from the consent agenda.
Right after we budget, it was the High School Athletic Association.
Oh, it's just our
Our
membership in the MHSAA.
to compete in state athletics. Yep.
Yes. Two other things. Deb, thank you for. You are correct. None of us were around in the 2015 bond. If there are specific projects that were not completed, I would like to know about it, because I am not aware of specific projects that were not completed.
That was the one I was most aware of, is that was supposed to be part of the 2015. And I think the other aspect that has created, and again, these are things you've inherited, not you, is that we had all those elementary schools that we, old folks like us, like, we just tore down all those elementary, you don't know how many times we've heard that. We just tore down a whole bunch of elementary schools, and now they want to build a new one. So, that's a bit of a rub too. And I'm way past my 3 minutes.
I think that's okay. Deb, I think the other thing that I just want, and thank you for bringing it up, the preschool, I am not in the, I don't think anybody on this board intends to put anybody out of business. One of the things that we have is we have identified as a board that we want to affect third grade reading scores. If a student comes to us in kindergarten or in first grade, since kindergarten is not compulsory in the state, and doesn't know their letters or numbers, they're starting way behind a kid that went to a high caliber preschool. What we need to address as a district is 30% of our kiddos don't go to preschool. So they're starting at a deficit. We're trying to address that 30% of the kiddos to make sure that they have a high caliber preschool opportunity. And we're trying to be that district that takes those kiddos in and make sure that they have the opportunities to learn and thrive at an earlier age so that we can change their trajectory over time. Anybody else like to address the board?